Hi guys, it's Ray. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am starting on 2 full wrap cups for boys. So I was just going to do a white base. I was going to put a coat of epoxy and then put my wrap on, but I've decided that I'm going to try a glow-in-the-dark base underneath. So I'm going to actually give them 2 coats of epoxy to start with. I'm using KS Resin Liquidy Split Ultra UV, and I'm going to add glow powders to them. I have 2 here that are, I think this one's a yellow and this one's a yellow green. This one's more of a white powder. This one has a little more pigment to it, but I know that this one glows incredibly bright. I don't have brands for any of these. These are just cheap ones that I ordered from AliExpress a while ago. So but I'm going to mix both of them, and I'm going to end up doing 2 coats like this just to give them their best chance at glowing. So I'm just going to put some of the powder in, and hopefully that wasn't too much. If you use too much, it'll almost end up gritty, but it's going to get additional coats. So, and I'm just going to use a little bit less of this one since it has that pigment to it. And I'm going to keep this stick with the 2 bags for the next coat. That way I don't grab it and like start mixing epoxy with it or something thinking it's clean. So I'm going to get that mixed in pretty well. I don't think it's going to alter the color enough to show through the full wrap. And if it covers the bottom and alters the white, I'm not going to be too concerned, because I think I'm going to paint the bottoms a coordinating color after I get the wrap on. I'm going to do a layer of clear, and then I think tape off and paint the bottom and maybe the top rim if I have that little bit of white showing. I think that's my current plan. You know me and plans, they change. So I'm going to epoxy these off the turners, then put them on the turner. So I mixed up 30 mLs, but then I quickly coated a cup, a small cup, so I have about 28 mLs in there. So I'm going to use about half of this, which will be about 14 per cup. So I'm just going to pour about half right onto the bottom and then spread it from there. And then I'm going to put it on a turner. I could do this on the turner, it really doesn't matter. It's just I didn't have the cups on the turner, so it was easier to just do it this way. But you can see how that powder is not really altering the color too much. And I will check these after 1 coat, but I really do believe it's going to require 2 to get a good amount of glow. And I really do want it to have a good glow to show through the full wrap. So that's where my thought process is at currently. I tested my camera earlier to see if I could really see the glow on camera on another cup I'm working on. And I can see it pretty vividly with my eyes, but through the camera lens, it just doesn't really show up. So I may or may not be able to show you these with the glow, because this is a larger amount of glow than the other cup I checked. I may be able to show you, and I can also try and take pictures, because a lot of the time the glow will show up in a picture where it might not show up on video for whatever reason. I've noticed that. So this one is coated. It's going to go on a turner, and I will get the next one coated. I'll be right back. I'm just over here next to you on the turner. Okay, grabbing the next cup. And I don't think I quite used half on that other cup, but I can always finish this off with it on the turner if I need to. And this is liquidy split, so it is already starting to warm up because it is ridiculously hot and humid. I've actually been having a hard time getting anything done with the weather the way it's been. I feel bad because I haven't really had a lot to offer, but it's just kind of, I've been trying to catch the weather if I can, but I feel like every time I'm prepared to do something, we get more rain. And it's just been crazy. The humidity has been unreal. And if you're somebody that gets headaches, you will know that when the humidity is high and the barometric pressure is up with all this rain, that headaches become a constant, and then you don't really feel motivated to do anything anyways. So it's been a struggle the last couple weeks since vacation. Not even a couple of weeks. So this one is coated, and I'm probably going to go work the rest of this onto one or both of these cups just to not waste it. So I'm going to let these dry for a couple of hours, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to this today and decide if I need another coat or not, and I will come back. Okay, so these are dry now, ready for the next coat. They do have some glow, but not neat and even, and not to the level I'm really looking for. So I'm going to take a cup, and I've already mixed up a big batch of resin, but I'm going to mix up another 30 mLs or so with the glow powders. Set that out of the way. And I'm going to lean a little heavier on this one this time, now that I know it's not really going to yellow the cup. And I should have opened this up without gloves on. So the last time I went pretty light with this one, and this time I'm just going to put quite a bit in. And I'm still going to give it a little bit of the other one. Good 3 scoops or so. My cup's getting pretty full. I can't put much more than that in there. And then I am just going to carefully, now that it's so full, mix that all together. If it was just a little bit darker out, I could probably show you the glow, but it's still a little too much daylight. Or I could try to anyways. But hopefully after this coat it will be, it's gonna be done after this coat regardless. Because I don't want these getting too thick, or my wrap's gonna have to be drastically resized. So that's pretty well mixed. And I'm just going to start. Sorry, these are my like really noisy turners, and you can't quite see both cups where I have you positioned, but I'm just going to work my way back and forth between the two. And I will make sure these are super level when I'm done. I'm quite honestly just going to work them both at the same time, since I'm doing them on the turner this time. And I'm going to hit the bottom, but I'm going to go fairly light on the bottoms, because like I said, the bottoms are most likely going to get covered. Every glow powder I've tried is just tricky to work with. Had I thought ahead, I could have tried to get like a glow spray paint. But the glow was kind of an afterthought, so. This is the second set of cups I've done for these boys, and I'm pretty sure I did glow on the first set for them as well. But she didn't ask for glow. I just thought it would be cool underneath the images that I'm going to put on them. I'm using cast resin liquid stone this time because it's late and I'm just going to let them turn. I'm going to be done working once I get all of the cups I have next to me coated. So I am just about done for the day, finally. Just going to work it all on. And make sure they're all covered. Which that one seems to have full coverage. It'll work on evening out. Because it's liquid stone and not the fast set, not the liquidy split, it's gonna have a little bit longer of a working time. And more time to smooth itself. And I'm going to hit it with the torch in a minute, which will further smooth it. Okay, so I don't feel any more drag, so that's covered. I'll pull this glove off so I can torch real quick. Actually, I'm going to take both off because just coating, I would normally keep the same gloves on, but because I played with the glows, I don't want to risk contaminating the cup that doesn't need the glow. So, just going to give it a quick torch, just like once around. And if these aren't smooth, I will come in with a super thin coat, but I'm hoping that they'll smooth out while they turn. They should. So, but because I put so much powder in them this time, they may have a little bit of grit to them. So, that's all I'm going to do with these right now. I will be back when they're smooth and ready for the full wraps. Okay. So these two are ready for their full wraps. I'm not sure if they're charged up enough to see. Oh, you can see this one's glowing. This one's been hidden a little bit more. But you can see they do have a rough glow to them. I'm okay with that because it's going to mostly be covered anyways. So let me get my room light back on. These are going to be a little more difficult for me to wrap. So, I don't know how far I'll get this time. Or on camera. I might have to move the cup closer, so. But this is that clear printable vinyl. I'll grab the package in a minute. I've showed it to you before, but I don't mind showing it to you again. So I'm going to fold back a piece of the start. And I don't have a laser level to like draw a super straight line on a cup to do this. If I did, my life would probably be much easier. So I'm just going to try and line up that first bit of the top. And I'm going to probably end up with some bubbles in here. This is a little bit long. But the bubbles, I will do just like regular vinyl. I will take my pin pen weeding tool and just poke them when I'm done. So, but for now, I'm just going to roll back a little bit at a time. I'm going to try not to scrape too hard, even though I have felt wrapped on this one. That's what this is on the felt, is a little bit of ink from past wraps. And I'm going to be curious if I should trim this down a little bit. I'm going to trim the other one down a little bit more before I apply it. I am curious if it's going to pick up glow through the tumbler or not, or through the wrap or not. And that piece of glitter is just hopefully sitting on there and not dried into the ink. That's a big bubble. I don't think I can peel it back enough to get to that bubble. I did just pause a minute to peel back on that because that bubble was just entirely too big to be acceptable. But I'm just going to keep heading around. And I still have that tiny bit of the white at the top, so I'm not doing too bad on my top line. That's another bigger bubble. Almost there. So there we go. I do have a tiny bit of overlap on the back side, and I'm a tiny bit off. But I think I'm going to trim this down a little bit. The top I'm not really going to worry about. That I will just freehand even off, just so it's not as noticeable. I'll just drag a line up and peel it. I may need to change my blade. I don't want to gouge the whole cup, but I'll probably get a fresh blade in and take care of that. And like I said, I will look for bigger bubbles, smaller bubbles, and I will work them out because I do have quite a few. This style of tumbler is better suited for a sublimation, but it is possible to do it on an epoxy method stainless tumbler. So I am not going to wrap this one on camera. I'm going to try and bring this one closer to me and try and make my life a tiny bit easier there. So I am curious though if the glow is going to show through. So I'm going to put this one in front of a brighter light while I wrap this one, and I will be back. Okay, that one went much better. I have a few bubbles in it, but not too bad. I'm actually going to try and hit it tomorrow, not tonight, with a hairdryer quick, because with regular vinyl, sometimes heating it will shrink it up a little bit, and I'm curious to see what it'll do on printable. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna shut the light off for a second again. Oh yeah, this one looks really cool. It does glow a little bit through the brickwork. And then this one does have some glow through it. Not as much, but in the lighter spots. So I think they will love these. And let me get my light back on a minute. So I'm going to decide if I'm going to peel this up and just print a new one or what I'm going to do, because I am much happier with the size of this one than this one. I like the way it laid on the cup much better. I mean, it's almost completely flat. I did get a little something under there, but I have very few bubbles to deal with on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and I think reprint this one and just start over. But I'm going to find out if I'm putting names on the back of these. I didn't ask yet. I'm going to get a layer of epoxy on first, and then I'll find out if I'm putting names on them or anything like that. So I will be back to put the epoxy on tomorrow. Okay, so these ones have kind of fought me, and I'm not, this one's not so bad. The other one I'm not as thrilled with. But I'm going to get a name on these. So I have my vinyl cut and outline cut. I did offsets on the Cricut for these. So I'm just going to get that layered real quick. Hopefully. Let me scooch this. I did the text in white and the offset on black because it kind of went with the hand-drawn look of this. So this will obviously block the glow in the dark, but it's alright. And I'm going to put the name vertically down on the seam. Just somewhere in the middle-ish. I do have one little bump there, but that's part of why I'm putting the name here, because I wanted to cover it. So that's the name on this one. And this one's really giving me fits. I'm not happy with the way the top of this looks. It's not terrible, and I mean, I'm probably the only one who would really notice. So I think it's time to just let it go and call it good enough. So I have my name for this one. I'm trying to stretch this little piece of transfer tape, and I just did the name in the same colors. I probably could have switched them up, but I didn't. So I'm just layering it onto my black. I did a fairly thin offset for these. I think I only did like 0.1 or 0.15 maybe. I kept it really tight. So I'm going to do this kind of off of the seam, but way up at the top. So these are ready for another coat of resin. Not perfect, but they're for family and it'll be fine. Let's see. I took pictures of them glowing. I don't know if I got video of them glowing because I started these so long ago. So if I don't have it in the video, I will make sure I put the pictures at the end. I'm not going to come back on and do the resin on these for you guys, because you've seen enough of them. But this is how they look complete. These are full vinyl wraps. on epoxy. This one worked great with the vinyl. This one, if I'd been able to seal water slide when I started these, I probably would have switched to water slide with this one, but when I started these, it was non-stop rain, so I went with vinyl. But all in all, I'm okay with them, and you know, so the only thing I used for these were the Maker Flow tumblers, the glow powder. I used a generic glow powder. Almost all of the glitter companies have a glow powder at this point. To me, they all seem to work the same, so order that from whoever your one is. I'll link some on Amazon. And I used the Korty clear printable vinyl for the vinyl wraps, and I used KS resin. For these ones, I believe I used all liquid stone. I don't think I used any of the liquidy split on these. So that's all I used. Thank you.